Alright, well, we're going to fabricate a chicken. Alright, first thing you would want to do is obviously rinse it off if it was in a baggie like most chickens are. And make sure that's nice and clean. If it's a little wet, you might want to dry it out, but I don't really have any towels, so I'm not going to. First thing you want to check is how malleable it is. You're just going to move it around and play with it, get used to it. And it's right here, this little skin, you want to cut off. So that you have a wider open space to check, look at the cavity, see if there's any organs still left in there. If not, that's fine. And first thing you would want to get started with is taking off the wings. Normally you can tell the quality of the chicken by how it's not massacred. Like this one, it's missing a part of its wings. So obviously this isn't like the highest grade chicken, but it still works. What you want to do is lean it on its side and get right by the joint and pull. If you can't pull and hear the joint pop, what you want to do is take it where it's right under the armpit with the knife. It's not the best, but you can see it, and lightly score it with the tip of your knife. So if you want to choke up on it, you take it and you cut it so you get inside without damaging any of the meat, and just cut around. Most of these parts have a fat line that makes it a little easier, and as you get to it, you get to the end part, which is right here, the knife, this part right here, and it'll hook it. If you don't have a boning knife, that's fine. It works with any other knife. You get to the lower part where it's a little more of an easy fix trying to get to it. And right here where it's in between, you can see the in between part. You're just going to cut through it. And if it's a little bit of a struggle, that's fine, because then you could just cut around it. And a little scoring helps to pull it out. Right now, hear that? That's a pop. And now you can get the whole wing off. See? And I'm going to do it quicker with the next one, just to show you how easy it is. Just score it around. Get in there. And it's, it's cutting up a bird, so it shouldn't be too hard, but obviously if you're worried about the knife with your hand, keep an eye and make sure that you always have the knife in view. Always have your knuckles in view as well. And real quick. There you go. Now I have two wings, well, 1 1/2 or 1 3/4. The next thing I'm going to work on is going to be the legs. So,
you take the moon and you take the sun. You take everything.
Okay. Next thing is going to be the legs. And what you want to do is score right here to cut the skin and the fat to loosen them up. So you have a little more wiggle room trying to grab it. Same thing over here. I'm going to turn it so I can see it. Once those are out, what you want to do is take your hand, put it right around here where the thigh and the butt meet, and pop out the joint. And when you do, you're going to take the chicken, and I'm going to turn so that you can see it better. And you're going to take the knife and just drag it slightly down. You're going to feel it against the bone, and what you want to do is take it from here and cut against the bone. Get as much meat as you can to get your money's worth. And you're just going to slightly cut and cut, trying not to cut through the bone, because sometimes, depending if your knife's sharp enough, you can cut through the bone. Little tendons. Stop right about here. What you want to see here is that there's a little butt cheek here. The oyster is actually a really tender and juicy part of meat, so what you want to do is pull it back, put your thumb into the oyster, pushing up all the meat so you get it all out. And you slightly cut to get the skin up, and once you do, just cut it right off. And now, aside cutting the meat, and what I want you to see is this little nugget right here is the oyster. You want to make sure that you get that, because honestly, it's a waste if you don't get it. So I'm going to move this over here. The next thing is cutting the thigh from the leg. And what you want to do is, see how there's like a little white line there? You're going to take your knife, you're going to put it right on that line, even if it's at an angle, and just slice through. It's a natural separation between the bones so that the muscles can move. And my knife's not sharp enough. And you can easily get a leg and a thigh. If you want to take off the skin, the easiest way to do it is by using your bare hand and pulling it. But for my purpose, I'm just going to leave it on for now. So I'm going to do it again. You pop out the thigh, you listen to it, which sounds horrifying, but you know, people got to eat. Just cut and cut. And make sure that you're always cutting away from yourself, because if you cut toward yourself, you might slip. At least if you're cutting away from yourself and the knife slips, you don't cut your hand. Because having all 10 fingers is probably the best thing you could do for yourself. Around that oyster again, and you're just going to pull. Use your thumb to scoop up the rest of the meat if it's not coming out right. And boom, right there. So you're done. Now we're just going to cut the meat. And go for the thigh. Move the breast over real quick. Thigh over here, see? And they're just going to cut right through. Fat line, real quick, a few slices. And if you're like, you know, if there's like a little struggle like right now, I'm cutting through the bone, that's fine. Just kind of knife sharper, and we'll cut through. So now we have 2 legs, 2 thighs with 2 oysters attached and 2 wings. Now onto the main part of the chicken. As you can see that the oysters are completely clear. So that's a lot more meat that you got, and this little guy still has her neck. And this is the trick that I learned. What you want to do is around the neck, you're going to slice, just score it. It's going to break a couple ribs on both sides. And you're just going to break right through it and just cut right through the ribcage there. And as you're going through it, it might be a little bit of a struggle because some of these bones are stubborn, but you see it's going to come right out, and then you get the spine. And with the spine, you could either make stock, make gravy. Honestly, just cooking it down with a little bit of water gets you at least something out of it, so no matter what, you can still use this for something. Unless you don't want to, then just toss it. Also used for compost, but it'll reek horribly. Alright, there's 2 ways to get rid of the breast meat off the rib cage, but the first things first is the collarbone. What you're going to do is you're going to take the knife, any fat or anything, just rip off, put to the side, get it out of your way, and you're just going to cut and feel for a collarbone, like same as the one you have on your neck, but obviously just feel for it, feel for the knife, get your fingers in there, and if you can, if it's not already broken, I think this one's actually broken already, get your fingers in there and just pull it right on out. It's a little gross. This is essentially the wishbone of the chicken. You're just going to find the sternum, grab it, and you're just going to really quickly pull it out. If it breaks, that's fine. You can easily get the meat out. It's not a bad thing. See, mine's already broken. That's half of it. And this side, there you go, found it. Which means that this chicken got beat up a little bit before it got put away. The other one, even though it sounds disgusting, there you go. Both are out entirely. See how there's a little white bit? They normally break when you pull it out, but it's still there, thank God. And you can either break open the breast and split it so it still has a rib cage attached, so it has at least some of the structure. I don't personally like that just because it's a little easier just to cut it out. So what you want to do is lightly go close to the rib cage and pull the meat away so you get every cent that you just paid for this chicken. You might not get all the meat. If it's your first couple times, just make sure that your palm's flat, and you pretty much, once you get in, you can use your thumb to help push the meat off, which is the best part about chicken. There's no real need to have a knife when doing the breast meat, but you could easily just get all the meat off with your thumb. See how I'm doing it right now? Makes it 10 times easier than hacking at it with a knife if you're not sure or you're worried about your hand. Just do it with your fingers. I'm going to use a knife because it's getting a little difficult right now. And you're right about the point where I'm going to go to the other side. If you break a couple bones, that's fine. You don't need them. They're not your bones, so long as they don't break. All right. And this is a horrible view. Alright, right now what you're seeing is the breast and the tenderloin. This is like the small piece of chicken that you would do chicken tenders with. It comes right out. It's good for several things, but if you want to keep it all together, you can. I personally don't because I use it for small items of food. And once you get around the center, what I would suggest is that you get directly to the other side. The whole point is that you get the rib cage off in one big chunk, which makes it 10 times easier to at least split rather than cutting it in half and then struggling to get the bones out, which is just a pain in the neck, time consuming, and it's better off that you do the food in an easy and quick way so you're not spending all day on it. But your thumb's the best way to go about pushing the meat down, and it's not really going to ruin the texture, if anything, especially if you keep it close to the bone like I'm doing. And you're just going to keep pushing on it and pushing on it as much as you can until you get down to the base. There should be fat that might get in your way, and that's just a pain in the neck, but as long as you get all of it, you'll be fine. See, this is the other tenderloin. All you gotta do is pull up. Comes right out naturally. It has its own natural fat that's under it that basically separates it. There's tendons there that you might want to cut out for, in any case you don't want to eat that. They're not pleasant. And what you're looking at now is two breasts that are sewed together. So this would be like a butterfly chicken breast, not like one side, but the whole thing. And now you have the sternum, which is like the hardest part. This gets stuck very easily, and it's difficult to get out with your fingers, but what I was always taught is that you take it and you just pull. And it will just naturally all separate. See? Perfect. I didn't even break it for once. You know, that's good. And after you get two breasts, all you need to do is take your knife, and you can see the natural fat line, go right down the middle. And just pull. And see, look, two whole chicken breasts. So now you have a spine, rib cage, two chicken breasts, the collarbone, two legs, two wings, two thighs, two tenderloins. And that's basically how to fabricate a chicken.